Even Trump supporters are admitting his campaign sucks.
I love Trump. I love him to death, but I'm not a real big fan of his campaign. I'm not a real big fan of Chris LaCivita, Susie Wiles, and even JD Vance, who is a never Trumper. So it begs the question, why are we even here?
I mean, he's right. Have you seen any of Trump's recent speeches?
Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. Go. Get out of here. Right? Get her. Boom.
That's all he's got? A quote from The Apprentice? And don't even get me started on how he's trying to defend JD Vance.
And she called JD and I weird. He's not weird. He was a great student at Yale. He went to Ohio State, graduated in 2 years, at the top of his class, and all of these different things. And we have this guy that's running a very failed state, who's had a terrible career. I mean, you have him saying they're weird. No, he's a weird guy. And she's weird in her policy. Who wouldn't want to have strong borders? Who doesn't want to have lower taxes?
Oh, it's so much fun to watch how the weird label is getting under his skin. And if you want to get under his skin even more, talk about crowd sizes.
And you said Harris's crowd sizes were AI and that there weren't people there. There's all kinds of video evidence and people who were there who have proven that false. Can you tell us about why you made that claim?
Well, I can't say what was there, who was there. I can only tell you about ours. We have the biggest crowds ever in the history of politics.
You know why he's having so hard of a time landing anything is because it's all repeat material. It's all old stuff that he's trying and it's not working anymore. He's trying the whole crowd size thing. He's doing the name calling thing. How dare you call me weird? You're weird. He's doing you're fired. He's bringing back you're fired. I mean, that's like 20 years old. He's bringing back old material. It's like when you get excited about a new movie coming out from a series that you like and you go watch the sequel and you're like, oh, this is worse than the episode than the one before. And that's what the Trump campaign is right now. They have no idea what they're doing. They're fumbling. They're struggling. And it's so fun to watch. Just watching him get upset about the fact that he was called weird. You know, you got to give Tim Walz a lot of credit about coming up with that label because it wasn't about, hey, these guys are dangerous, which they are to democracy. It wasn't about, hey, look at their policies and how he failed in his 4 years as president. It wasn't about, look at all of his failures. It was they're weird. And that got under his skin. And now he can't handle it. He goes, why are they calling us weird? I'm not weird. JD Vance, he did college in 2 years. And then he went to... The word weird got them. That shows you how weak these bullies are. And they're fumbling. And they're you saw in that first clip there, even their own followers are going, what's going on? This campaign is really suffering because what they got is they got old people that used to work on the campaign in the past. And they're coming back. They're trying to attack Kamala. They can't figure out how to attack Kamala. Do we go after her for being a woman? Do we go after her for being black? Do we go after her for being a Marxist? This whole Marxist thing is the craziest thing in the world. She's a communist. Really, you think Americans are going to fall for that? That she's a communist? That she's doing some kind of communist thing? America, at the heart, is a capitalistic society. I don't care if you brought Karl Marx back to run. He could not change. That's Bernie Sanders is the closest we've got to a Marxist, and he was not going to be elected. So let's just, Ralph Nader. Ralph Nader was someone who was like, hey, let's get everyone health care and free education, and America was like, no way, Marxist, no way. It's not going to happen. So these arguments are so dated, and the problem that we find is Trump has to go to the same well to get the same people that are at their hearts just bad people. He's got your Stephen Millers. He's got your Steve Bannon, who's in prison right now. He's got your Kellyanne Conways. He's bringing back Corey Lewandowski. He's that LaCivita guy. He's got all these people that are really bad people that don't know how else to think. They are using terminology from 10, 15, 20 years ago. Their whole attack. Trump was one of the big birthers, the birther movement of how he questioned Barack Obama's nationality. He tried it. He tried it with Kamala Harris. Oh, she was Indian and then she turned black. And where's she from? You got Laura Loomer, who's one of his supporters, was digging up Kamala Harris's birth certificate and trying to say that she's, not American or she's not black. I mean, it's all so sophomoric and just people see past it now. It's like it's done, and he's done. He's cooked, and he's old. And JD Vance is inexperienced. Really, if you really sat down and you took the candidates and you just laid out what they've done and their experiences and their leadership experiences and what they've done for other people, it would be a no-brainer. Kamala would just clean the floor with this guy. But you've got enough billionaires out there who are throwing a ton of money at the Trump campaign. This is, by the way, look up Citizens United. We all know it. It's where it allows people to throw millions and millions of dollars to a candidate. And it allows rich people to really influence an election, which should be illegal. It should not be the case. We're one of the only countries that allows us to do that. And so you have these rich people spending enough money to create ads to make people think that Donald Trump is out for them. We've known from the beginning Donald Trump was not out for them. Donald Trump has been out for Donald Trump since day one. Donald Trump is someone who actually he profited from his presidency. It came out that he made millions of dollars from his businesses during his presidency by getting people that came to see him from other countries to stay at his hotels. It came out that Egypt put $10 million into his campaign when he needed it. We know the whole Russia thing, which he claims is a hoax. It's not a hoax. There was Russian influence. All of this stuff is so obvious. And so you've got a guy who was basically willing to do anything the billionaires wanted, gave them the tax breaks, continues to give tax breaks, plays their game. Originally had said he didn't want TikTok, but then once the rich guy from TikTok came down and met him at Mar-a-Lago, goes, all right, I want TikTok. Originally criticized Elon Musk, but once Elon Musk said he'll kiss the ring, all right, I'll take you. He's willing to do anything for anyone that's willing to fill his pockets. And ultimately, he wants to stay out of jail because ultimately, if he were to lose the election, then the cases against him would probably, hopefully, go forward, and he could end up in prison or in some sort of legal trouble. The fact that he's even allowed to run right now is crazy. The fact that he tried to overthrow democracy on January 6th and he's still allowed to run is crazy. And yet, here we are. But the good news is that his campaign is stale. His strategies are stale. He doesn't know what to do. So he started by saying that Kamala is dumb and has a bad laugh. That was his criticism. She's got a bad laugh. He said that Kamala is dumb, and yet he's the guy who probably went to college because his father paid a good amount of money to get him into college, because we also know that that's how he avoided going to Vietnam. We also know that his claim to being smart is that his uncle was a professor at MIT. That's just not how intelligence works. You know, I can't say, oh, I had an uncle who was a financial genius, therefore I'm a financial genius. That's not how it works. And yet for Donald Trump, it does. And yet for his followers, it does. And yet that guy in the beginning of this whole video we saw is also giving up on Donald Trump. So we have a couple months left. We'll see how it goes. I hope you register to vote. I hope you get people to go out and vote. I hope you read up on Project 2025, because it's not just Donald Trump. It's what the people that are trying to put him in power are trying to do. They took away a woman's right to choose an abortion. They are going to go after LGBTQ rights. They're going to go after religious minorities. They will go after a lot of folks and a lot of things. Climate change. They just want to make more money. So you got to ask yourself, will you vote for the rich who want to keep making more money, or will you vote for your own interests and hopefully end up with someone who actually cares for you? Those are the questions. Guys, listen, I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. I've got a special on YouTube. It's called The Birds and the Bees. I want you to Google it. If you like it, watch it. It's on YouTube. It's right here. Enjoy it. Tell your friends. You don't enjoy it? Keep it to yourselves. See ya.